Hello everyone, my name is David Perez from SymFinTek, and in today's video we're going to talk about the accrual transaction inside the commissions conductor for Acumatica. We have already reviewed the calculate commissions process, and at this point the commission records are created. Now, upon the creation of these records, we can start performing some kind of transaction operations. The transaction operations that the commissions conductor has until now are accruals and payments. The payments has two different kinds of transactions that are considered the payments and the draws transaction. But we are going to talk about the draws and the payment in another video, okay? So let's focus on the accrual transactions. So firstly, let's define which is the concept of the accrual transaction that SymFinTek has defined for commissions. So basically, the commission accruals are the provision of the expense that the company is acquiring as consequence of sales performed by salespeople who are going to receive commissions. So basically, the accrual is the liability that the company has with the entire salespeople team that are pending to receive commissions upon the different triggers that the commissions can receive, such as payment cycles, okay, or the different earnings upon conditions that you can define in the incentive profiles. Maybe your commissions are going to be paid based on customer payments on the invoices, or you are going to pay at the end of the month the commission amounts based on the sales release, okay, from the invoices or from the sales order. So that will depend on you. But in the end, the commission accruals are going to register financially, okay, which is going to be the commission expense, okay, and the liability that the company is acquiring with the salespeople team. So let's start talking about the commission accruals screen. So the commission accruals screen can be accessed as well from the commissions menu under the transactions section, okay? And it looks like this, okay? So at the beginning, you are going to have a little warning that is going to tell you that it is mandatory to specify your reference before performing any other kind of operation. Basically, you need to save the header of the of the document before loading records, okay? Then we have a process number that is an auto numbering field that is going to be auto calculated, okay? Then we have a transaction date, that this is the date that we want to register financially the accrual transaction, okay? So I think that we are going to see this better once the financial statement is created, but the accrual transaction is going to hit two different accounts, the expenses account and the accruals account, okay? So basically, the expenses account is going to be increased as well as the accrual account, okay? So we are going to see the financial statements once we release the accrual document, okay? So this is going to be the accrual transaction date that's going to be used. This is a preparer, who is the person that is creating the document, that is the person that is currently logged into the system. And then we have the financial period that we want to use at the time of creating the journal transaction document that is going to be created once this document, the commission accrual document, is released, okay? So we are in January, So I'm going to select January as well. But we have data from back from 2022. So I'm going to accrue the first 6 months of June. Okay, so I'm going to put over here accrual on the first half of 2022. Okay. The cutoff date is the date that is going to be used to inspect records or data to be loaded on from this date and behind. Okay, so basically, if we want to load half of the 2022 year, what we need to do is get back to June and go into 2022 and select the last day of June. So, okay, so basically this is going to load all the records, okay, from the beginning of the history, okay, up to this date over here. Basically, July the 1st, 2022 is not going to be loaded, okay? And any future data after the date selected from the cutoff date, okay? Then we have a checkbox that is called post to financials, where you can decide if you want the financial record or you can decide if you want to hit the financial books, okay? When you release a document, as we are going to see in a couple of minutes, it creates a journal transaction, okay, document from the general ledger module. Nevertheless, if you don't want to create any financial statement and you only want to keep the operations inside the commissions conductor tables and commissions conductor scope, you could do it. You can create the statements manually based on your own convenience. Okay. Nevertheless, we highly recommend to all our customers to use the post to financials. Okay. That is the way we have conceptualized how the accruals are going to be processed, okay, by creating journal transactions. Then we have statuses. The different statuses values can be open. This is when the document is brandly new created. Basically, is construction, right? I mean, you are validating data, loading records, selecting the cutoff date, the financial period, I don't know, inquiring the different results that are going to be loaded and that kind of things, okay? The release is when you hit on the release button and the transaction is completed. The output of the transaction or executing the release transaction has been completed. Outdated means that the record or the document is not longer valid, and this could happen by several circumstances, but the most frequent circumstances that arise or that makes the transition into the outdated document is when you load record in the accrual. You start calculating commissions again, and you have a record, you have an accrual document that is outdated from the reality or from the actual date regarding to the commissions, because you haven't reloaded the accrual records inside the documents. Okay, so basically the system is going to prevent you to create an accrual document using outdated data. So the record is going to be set into outdated, okay, the status updated, and a warning is going to be displayed telling you that you will require to create a new accrual document and load the brand new data that you have inside your commissions conductor. Then we have another status. A commission record can have multiple status, okay, mainly active and inactive. So the active records are records that are created and valid, are using the latest incentive metrics or incentive profiles versions, the person role incentive versions, okay? Inactive records are records that were active in some point of the story, okay, of the history. Then, because of another action, such as creating a new filter, creating a new tiers rates structure, adding a new person, changing the split participation on a particular document, commission records can be deactivated. What is going to be the impact of an inactive record is that the record is going to be processed, okay, in the opposite side as it was processed as it was active. So basically, if you perform an accrual, a positive accrual for a record, then it's going to be processed as a negative amount for the accrual process, vice versa, okay? So we always select, or we always encourage people to use the OR, and we only display these options over here in case, I don't know, we will need a more detailed, unredefined transaction that explicitly displays active or inactive in separate documents, okay? But commonly, the all option is the most used one, okay? And then we have the reference to the journal transaction batch number that is going to be created, the accrual total amount, that is the aggregation of the accrual amount column from the grid, okay? And then we have release automations. The release automations are related to the post to financials. So as I already mentioned, okay, this is going to create a journal transaction document, okay? So by hitting, okay, or turning on the post to financials, this is going to create a journal transaction document that by default is going to be removed from hold, okay? But you can decide to just to do not remove it from hold and do it manually at the time the link to the document appears over here, okay? So by default, we always create a new accrual by removing from hold and releasing the document, the journal transaction document automatically, okay? So that's all from the header perspective. And now we are going to save the document. At the time we save the document, a load records action button is going to appear. And with this, we are going to load records, okay, into the grid that are going to be processed, okay? So with this information, we are going to describe the details of the screen. So this tab over here is called accrual details. So over here are going to be displayed, okay, all the commission records that are behind included this date, okay, for the accrual transaction operation. So as we have already mentioned, we shouldn't have records over here older than June, the last day of June. So let's validate this. Basically, let me filter by this column from here. Sort descending, exactly. We only have data coming from June 2022 and from January 2022. Okay, so these are this is the original commission record that is being processed. This is the commission record status. All of them are active at this point because we haven't deactivated anything so far. That is something that we are going to do in another video. This is the calculation period that is going to be used, the person, the role, the incentive, the role incentive, the person role incentive version that defines the tiers, okay, the tiers table rates that is being used, okay. This is a subset of the information coming from the commission details inquiry, okay? But it's the same data. Then we have the links to the invoice, the sales order, the inventory, and almost at the end, we have the document participation percentage that is interesting in case you are looking for splits, okay? Alongside the earnings open, that is the condition that is going to make the commissions effective, okay? So basically all these records over here are coming from sales fully paid. That doesn't mean that if the document is not closed, I mean, I'm talking about the invoices. If the invoice is not closed, it is going to still appearing over here because this is a condition for the payment, not for the accrual, okay? So basically, even if the invoice is not closed, let me check this one really quick to inspect the data and see if this invoice is already closed. Okay, yes, this invoice is closed. But what I'm trying to say is that being closed is not a condition to appear over here, okay? Because the accrual, okay, is mostly treated as the entire potential of the commission amount, assuming that the customer is going to pay you in full, okay? So over here we have the commission percentage and the accrual amount. And over here is the total accrual amount that is going to be processed. We have another tabs where you can filter based on the accrual details tab the different group buys operations depending on or relating person and role, person and incentive, and by person, okay? So Alberto, by playing this role, is going to have an accrual amount of this amount over here. And in case Alberto played more than one role, it's going to appear over here twice or three times or more times, okay? A few or more times. So basically this is by person role, this is by person and incentive, and you can see over here Alberto appear 4 times, okay? Because there are 4 different incentives where Alberto was related to. And then we have a single record by person, okay? So Alberto is going to accrue this amount of money that is the same amount as the person and the role. And over here we can see the splits, okay, by the different incentive. So now with this information, we're going to release the document, okay? And at the time of releasing the document, this is going to create a journal transaction that is going to appear over this area, okay? So let me rearrange my tabs over here during while it completes. Okay, so I have over here my journal transaction batch number, and here we have a commission accrual, okay, that is being posted into this financial period, okay. This is the same financial period that we have selected over here, and as I mentioned to you, this is the transaction date, okay, that is coming from the commission accruals screen. So this date and these financial periods are important because they are going to be reflected into the journal transaction document. The model that is being used is the general ledger model, okay? These are the amount of debits and the credits. And over here, you can see the different debits and credits that are going to be performed by branch, account, sub-account, project, task, okay, person, and incentive, okay. As you can see over here, we have different transactions for TIO, for industrial equipment, CO for electronics, CO for consumer, CO for industrial equipment. This is because this is coming from a different calculation period. As we have already discussed or we have seen in the accrual, okay, we are processing data coming from different calculation periods, okay? So it's coming from January, 2022, February of 2022, and so on, okay? So this is grouped by the calculation period as well, okay? So over here you can see the different operations and transactions for TIO and the different incentive by calculation period, okay? So this is the amount of lines that you're going to have. The combination of calculation period, branch, account, sub-account, project, task, person, and incentive, okay? Let's inspect, okay, the different accounts that are being used. So for the commission expense, we're going to create a debit, okay? And from the commission accrual, we're going to create a credit, okay? So basically, okay, with this we are increasing the expense, okay, and we are increasing the liability for the commission expenses accrual, okay. With this, we financially we are going to to record, okay, which is going to be the liability of the commission that we are going to pay, assuming that the customer is going to pay in full, okay? So let's get back, because this is the last point where we get into the accrual, okay? So from this point, you can reclassify, reverse, and so on, as you do in Acumatica, but we are not going to use any other financial screen from Acumatica regarding to the accrual operation, okay? So let me close this over here, and now you can see how this document is totally locked. You cannot change anything from here anymore, okay? And in case you want to inquiry specifically the accrual, you can go into the commission accruals inquiry or commission accrual details inquiry. Let's inspect the most general view regarding to the accruals inquiry. So from here we can see, or we can have a view of the accrual amounts for a specific accrual numbers, okay, or accrual number transactions that we can select from here. We can filter by the person, for the accrual period, okay, and the financial year over here, okay. The accrual period is the financial period selected at the top of the header, okay, so those are the filters that you can use. And then you can get access to the original commission accrual document that derive into this specific transaction, or you can get into the specific records, okay, that are being aggregated, for instance, for Alberto, in order to aggregate this amount of money for the accruals. So from here, you have a more detailed view about the records that are being aggregated, alongside more information, okay, in case you want to drill down, or you want to audit some value of your convenience, okay. Then if you want to access into the commission accrual details inquiry, not by using a side panel, but by getting into the specific accrual generic inquiry, you can go from here. And from here you can enter into the specific screen that is going to give you the main view of the commission accruals details inquiry. So from here you have more information and a better and flexible way to inquiry all the information regarding to your accrual transactions. It is important to remember, okay, that from here you can inquiry whichever accrual document that you have created, okay. So alongside the generic inquiries, we have reports that are more or less the same concept of the inquiries. We have the summarized commission accruals and the detailed commission accruals. So the summarized commission accruals, okay, are going to give by accrual number, okay, which are going to be the accrual by invoice, okay. So over here we have this accrual number that gave or that totalized this amount of money. So by person for Alberto, uh, Alberto earned this amount of money or is expected to receive this amount of money for this invoice that totalizes this amount of commission accrual, okay? The record being active, okay? This is aggregation of the records being active because they can be inactive as well. And then we have over here the combination of the role and the incentive because a person can belong to different roles or different incentives, okay? So over here you can see the different quantity, revenue, cost coming from the original line, invoice line in this case, because this is an AR document coming from the accounts receivable. And over here you have the aggregations by the invoice, okay? Nevertheless, if you want a more detailed view where you can see the specific inventory lines or line details that are being related to a specific document, okay? You can run the detailed commission accruals, and over here you are going to have the dimension, okay, of the inventory that is being processed. So from here, you can have this information, this data, and by using the Acumatica information, you can export this to Excel, okay? And you have over here an Excel view, okay, that can be displayed. You have over here an Excel view that can be displayed over here, or we have a better an automated way from the processes, okay, to print the commission transactions reports, okay. So we can print the commission transaction reports, okay, and we can go into the print summary or print details, okay. So let's print the summary ones. Report type accruals, we have an accrual, we can hit over here and we can hit on the process, okay. So by doing this, we are going to create, or we are going to run the accrual report for the summary of the accruals for each person. So over here we have the summarized commission accruals for all these people, okay, for my car. So this is being automated, so you can have the PDF, okay, and you don't need to go specifically each by person by going into the commission reports over here and creating, selecting the accrual number, selecting this person, running the report, and then hit into the export button and doing it, okay. So basically you have a process screen that is specifically created to print the commission transactions, and you can select your type of document. As you can see over here, you have the accrual already for all these people. We can have the detailed ones as well. So let me select the details, print details, okay. Let me select this one. This is going to do the same, okay, but by using the detailed report view, okay, for the accruals. So over here we have the summarized, okay, the detailed views. We can export this into Excel, or we can also mail these reports as well, okay. So this can be completely automated. I mean, sending these reports can be completely automated by using this processing screen from Acumatica. Okay, so that's all from the commissions accrual transactions. Okay, um, this is all for now. Okay, in the next one we are going to talk about the payments and the accruals. But in order to wrap up this conversation, the accrual is the transaction that is going to create your commissions expectations, okay, your liability expectation about the commissions that are going to be paid, depending on the different metrics that you have for the money to be collected. So basically, assuming that the money is going to be collected in full, okay, that is the liability that you are going to have from a commission expenses perspective. So that's all. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one. Bye bye.